My brother wrote in the family group, "My wife says you'll ruin our evening," and our parents backed him up too. I only said, okay, but the next morning when they showed up at my luxury charity gala, the bride screamed the second she saw my name on the screen. On Friday evening I was standing by my kitchen island. The gala seating chart was spread out in front of me, the espresso machine was making noise behind me, and my phone kept vibrating over and over. The family group was called Bennett's Only. Ethan's message came in at the very top. "Ethan, Vanessa says you'll ruin the evening if you come. Let's keep tonight small." I read it again. Then Mom's message came in. "Mom, Claire, please don't make this harder than it needs to be." Dad sent nothing but a thumbs up. Very slowly I typed back. "Me okay." That was it. Ethan replied immediately. "Ethan, thank you. That's mature." I set my phone down on the counter. My assistant, Marisol, was standing in the doorway with folders in her hands. "Everything okay?" I let out a dry little laugh. Family group chat. "Bad. I just got kicked out of dinner." She straightened up. "Do you want me to remove the Bennett table from tomorrow's gala?" I looked toward the seating chart. There were 8 seats in the front section. Bennett family. "No," I said. "Leave it right where it is." Marisol looked at me carefully. That tone means someone's about to regret something. I only said, "Tomorrow no warnings. No changes. If they come let them walk in cold." At that exact moment Ethan called. I picked up. "Hey," he said like nothing had happened. I said, "You really thought that belonged in the group?" "Claire, don't start." "Start? You threw me out of dinner at your house." "It's my house too. My wife is hosting." "Then your wife could have messaged me herself." He said, "She didn't want drama." I held back a laugh. I literally said only one word. "Okay." "Yeah," in that tone. "You can hear tone through text now?" Before he could say anything else Mom joined the line. Of course she did. "Conference call." "Claire," she said in a soft but tired voice, "just let it go for tonight. Vanessa is already stressed." I asked, "She's stressed over the idea that I might come to dinner?" Dad said, "You always make everything about yourself." I gripped the counter harder. "I'm not even there." "Exactly," Mom said. "Let's keep it that way." I didn't say anything for a moment. Then I answered, "Fine. Enjoy dinner." The call ended. 5 minutes later Vanessa sent me a direct message. "Thanks for understanding. Tomorrow is important for us too." I didn't reply. That night Jenna sent me a private text. "Just so you know they're saying you were too busy with one of your rich people parties." I only wrote back, "Thanks." I turned my phone face down and went to stand in front of the window. Chicago's headlights were moving below me, and I could see clearly that this was not just about a family dinner. Vanessa had been playing this game for a long time. I thought back to Thanksgiving. The dining room at Mom's house smelled like turkey. As Vanessa set down the cranberry sauce, she looked at me and asked, "So what do you actually do, Claire?" I said, "I run the Archer House Foundation." She laughed. "No, I mean, actual work. Day to day." I looked at her. "Housing grants, legal aid, hospital funding, donor operations." "Okay, so events and checks," she cut in. Before I could answer, Dad said, "She didn't mean anything by it." Vanessa jumped in right away. "I'm just saying it must be nice. Big dresses, big rooms, everyone claps." Straightening my plate, I said, "Nobody claps at the shelter intake desk." Ethan brushed it off with a laugh. "Okay, not a TED talk at the dinner table." Mom looked at me and said, "See? You get sharp so fast." That wasn't the first time Vanessa had taken a jab at me. It was the first time I understood that the family would stand with her no matter how small the issue was or how obvious the truth was. Then there was the day of her wedding dress fitting. We were sitting in a drive-through coffee line when she looked out at the windshield and said, "Can you get me and Ethan into your spring gala?" I asked, "Why?" "Networking." "A charity gala is not a networking event, Vanessa." She laughed. "Everything is networking." I said, "There aren't public tickets. There are sponsor tables." She gave me a side eye. "You always say no in a way that feels expensive." I didn't answer. The truth was, I had done a lot for the family quietly and never talked about it. I covered the insurance gap on Mom's knee surgery bills. I cleared Dad's taxes 1 year. I quietly gave money twice to cover payroll at Ethan's restaurant. But the family version of me was still that I was distant, cold, and turned everything into a favor. A week before Christmas, Ethan came to my condo. It was raining. He sat on the edge of the couch and said, "I'm short on payroll." I opened my laptop. "How much?" He told me the amount. I transferred it. He said, "You're a lifesaver." I said, "No. I'm your sister." He stopped at the door before leaving. "Vanessa thinks you hate her. Vanessa has a problem with anyone who has something she doesn't." He stiffened. "That's unfair." I shrugged. "Maybe. Can you at least be normal around her?" "Define normal." "Less like this." "Like what?" Frustrated, he said, "Like you're always evaluating everybody." "I evaluate numbers," I said. "Not people." He said, "She says you make her feel cheap." I still didn't say anything then. But that sentence stayed with me. Then in March, my donor relations director, Paula, stopped me in the hallway and asked, "Did you authorize a floral request for a private Bennett dinner?" I said, "No." She forwarded me the email. Fake address. Low-resolution signature. A tone that sounded like my office but like a cheap imitation of it. White roses and candles had been requested for a family dinner, with future gala exposure offered in exchange. I called Ethan. "Did Vanessa use my name with a florist?" He got defensive immediately. "What? No. Think before you answer. Why are you accusing my wife?" "Because somebody did." An hour later a text came in. She says no. Maybe trust family before assuming the worst. I put my phone down then, but for the first time I clearly felt that this had moved past insecurity. On Friday night, not long after I had been thrown out of dinner, Marisol came back into my office. She had printed emails in her hand. "Sorry, but you need to see this now." I took the papers. A verification request had come in from Harold Kim's office. Someone pretending to be my office had asked Langford Hotel for a honeymoon suite upgrade, auction preview access, and donor placement for Ethan and Vanessa. One line near the bottom said, "Vanessa will represent the family at the gala and can speak on Claire's behalf if needed." Another line made me stop cold. "Please route acknowledgement first to Vanessa Cole Consulting LLC for family coordination." I turned the page. A VIP access code was attached. That code existed only in the packet I had couriered to my parents' house a week earlier. I looked at Marisol. "My mother gave her the packet." Marisol said, "Looks like it." That was when I understood why I had been pushed out of dinner. If I had gone, somebody would have brought up tomorrow. Some vendor might have thanked Vanessa. Or the fake access might have come out right there. Marisol asked, "Do you want me to void their passes?" A long time passed before I answered, "No." "Claire. Keep them active." "You want them here?" "Absolutely." She was quiet, then said softly, "That's not mercy." "I know." The next morning I got to the hotel early. White orchids were being arranged outside the ballroom, and the AV team was testing the giant screen. Silver letters appeared across it. Archer House Spring Gala. Founder and Chair, Claire Bennett. I said, "Again." They ran the rehearsal one more time. At 10:30 Marisol came over to me. "They're here." I walked to the edge of the lobby. Mom was wearing navy. Dad had on a gray suit. Ethan was fixing his tie. Vanessa came in last, in a cream dress, wearing the exact kind of confidence that told me she thought she wasn't stepping into someone else's world today. She thought she was here to take it. The second their codes were scanned at the check-in desk, the giant screen lit up. "Welcome to the Archer House Foundation weekend." Vanessa stopped. Then she looked up. Then again. The color drained from her face. "No." Ethan asked, "What? Why is her name up there?" The girl at check-in smiled professionally and said, "Welcome to the Archer House Gala." Vanessa nearly shouted, "Where is the event director?" I stepped forward. "You're looking at her." Mom's mouth fell open. Dad blinked. Ethan looked at the screen, then at me. "Claire." Vanessa asked, "You run this?" I said, "I built it." "Why didn't you tell us?" I moved closer and said, "You said I'd ruin your evening." I didn't want to interrupt dinner. Marisol opened the donor lounge door. "Private room is ready." Vanessa said, "I'm not going in there." I said, "Then security can walk you outside and we can do this in the lobby." She went straight inside. I remained standing in the room. They all sat down. I placed the first copy in front of Ethan. Read. He looked at the page. What is this? Your wife using my name, my foundation, my donors, and my hotel contacts. Vanessa spoke immediately. That's not what happened. I slid the second copy toward Mom. That VIP code came from the packet I sent your house. Did you give it to her? Mom pressed her lips together. She said Ethan needed a chance. She said if they met the right people. Dad cut in. We were helping him. I looked at him. By helping her impersonate me? Vanessa immediately snapped. Impersonate is insane. I read the line out clearly. Vanessa will represent the family and can speak on Claire's behalf if needed. Whose words are those supposed to be? She shouted. I was trying to get us into rooms where you already are. By routing donor acknowledgement to your LLC? Ethan lifted his head. What LLC? Vanessa's eyes locked on him. Ethan. Vanessa. What LLC? Consulting. It's nothing. I said, that's the account where she wanted the acknowledgement diverted. Ethan stood up. Tell me you didn't do that. She stood too. I was trying to build something for us. You kept saying your sister never helps without making you feel small. The room went silent. Softly I said to Ethan, sit down. He sat. Vanessa turned toward me. You think you're better than everyone. Big condo, big charity, big screen. The one you were trying to use. Because you waste it. In a cold voice I said, no. I protect it. Mom's voice shook. Claire, maybe we can fix this quietly. I looked at her. Quietly. Like last night? Like the family group chat? Like the florist? Like these emails? Dad said, there's no need to destroy the family over this. I walked over and stopped right in front of him. You already did that in a text thread. There was a knock on the door. Marisol said, 3 minutes. I pulled out the last envelope. This is not a legal filing. Not yet. This is notice. You will not enter donor spaces, you will not approach vendors, and you will not use my name again. After the program all of you will leave. Starting today, neither my office nor my home is open to any of you. Mom started crying. Claire. No. Dad said, you can't cut off your parents over one misunderstanding. I said, I can cut off anybody who helps somebody wear my face. Vanessa picked up her clutch. You're enjoying this. I answered, if I were enjoying it we'd still be in the lobby. She opened the door and walked out. Ethan said quietly, I didn't know. For the first time I looked straight at him. I know. Was any of what she said true? About me, about how I talk about you? I asked, after I covered your payroll, how many times did you call just to ask how I was? He lowered his eyes. I said, the program is starting. Sit there if you want. Then leave. I went out onto the stage. The ballroom was full. Crystal chandeliers, sponsor walls, auction tables, soft music, camera flashes. On the screen a reel was playing. Shelter hallways, hospital rooms, legal clinics. I stood at the podium and said, good morning. Thank you for being here. I spoke about housing grants, trauma counseling, emergency beds, and pediatric support. People were listening. They were taking notes. Checks were ready. Then at the end I set the cards down. One more thing, I said. If anyone recently received requests, promises, or access offers in my name or in the name of Archer House that felt unusual, please see our legal desk before you leave today. We are correcting something that was never authorized. A low murmur moved through the ballroom. It was enough. I never looked toward the family table. After the program Ethan came over to me. His tie was loose and his face looked wrecked. Claire. You should go. Did you really pay Mom's surgery bills? I stayed silent. Did you cover the restaurant payroll? I didn't say anything. Quietly he said, they never told me. You never asked. Is there any coming back from this? I said clearly, no. Vanessa's outside. She says you trapped her. I asked, were the fake emails a trap too? He had no answer. Then we're done here. That same afternoon the lawyers sent out letters. By Monday 2 vendors had submitted written statements. Vanessa's little consulting as he didn't last much longer. Ethan left me 3 voicemails. The first was an apology. The second was confusion. The third was nothing but silence. I deleted all 3. Mom tried to send flowers to my building lobby. Security sent them back. Dad sent one text. Family shouldn't end like this. I didn't reply. A month later, Ethan filed for separation. I didn't ask to see the papers. I had lost interest. Bennett's only is still on my phone. I never left the group. I only muted it. Sometimes the notification count keeps climbing. 18, 31, 46. I never open it. Those 3 printed packets are still in my study drawer. Mom's copy has a mascara stain on it. Ethan's copy has finger marks. Vanessa's copy is the cleanest. She barely held it. Planning for next year's gala has already begun. The Bennett table has been removed from the floor plan. I gave that space to the auction bar. It makes more money. If this story kept you hooked, please take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this one. Your support truly means a lot and helps us keep bringing you content you'll love. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end.